Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I got a Castles video for you here. It is a little late. This information was really posted last week, at the end of last week, but I as you've heard from my last video, tied up a little bit over the last few days, unfortunately, so I'm playing a little bit of catch up. So I hope you understand why this is a little late, but I wanted to get it in here before the AMA or the raffle/AMA session that they're going to have tomorrow at 20 UTC. So I wanted to at least go through these details, kind of queue it up. So if you do attend that AMA tomorrow, you at least have some background information. You can go ahead and add some additional questions because I'm going to have some questions tomorrow. Because there was a lot revealed in this update. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, if you go over to the Castles Discord, if I go over there, there was an announcement way up here. As I mentioned, I missed it a little bit. Right here, there's a Medium article. I highly suggest you go out there. I'll have a link to the Castles Discord in the description down below, plus the game itself. But we're not really going to cover stuff that's currently in the game too much. We're going to focus on the future of the dungeon expansion. They provided a lot of detailed information that we've been waiting for. They've hinted at this quite a bit over the last few months, but now they're providing some details, which means we're close. They're going to be doing some features this month, September, but they're going to try and have all the features out at some point in October. I don't know what date. I don't know what features, other than what's in this Medium article. But I highly suggest anyone that's super interested, like me, in this, to go to the AMA, which is tomorrow at 20 UTC. They're going to be doing the raffles for the Blacksmith Guild, and then they always have an AMA after they do the raffles. So it's interesting, especially if you did a Blacksmith Guild. You're going to want to see the raffles, and then you're going to go want to listen to the information that they have, because I speculate they're going to have a lot more detail and maybe some specific dates as far as what could be coming up here in the very near future. All right, once you open the Medium article, this is what you see. And for visual sakes for this video, I'm going to stick with the Medium article quite a bit as we're scrolling through this, because I want to make sure that I get the correct information to you. I don't want to guess. Again, I've gone through this article twice. There's a lot of information in here, so we're going to go ahead and dive in there. Again, this is the pre-dungeon launch details. Subject to change, keep that in mind. So some things could change between now and when it's launched. But we have some great information in here. Things, for example, we have basically talking about your heroes and the customization. And there's this quick video. I am not going to play it. You can go ahead out to their YouTube. It just shows them sorting through the actual different customizations. For phase one, I think it's neat. I kind of wish they did the drag and drop armor, but I know that is a whole lot more difficult to do and something that's good for down the road. So this is a good option for right now. Diving in there, a couple of things I wanted to note as we're going through here. Heroes, you guys recharge the stamina in order for them to fight. Once they get down and empty, you're pretty much stuck. The one critical thing that I wanted to highlight here was, after you stake your hero, in order to unstake it, for example, if you want to sell it, if you want to trade it, just to be able to unstake it, you need to make sure that the stamina is full. So you will need to keep that in mind. A lot of games let you unstake and stake freely. Some games make sure you get to a certain level. Your stamina has to be full. So that's one thing that you wanted to make sure that you went ahead and saw here. This shows you how to basically get your stamina back into place. As your hero gets up in rarity, it's going to cost more to get the stamina up there higher. And once you get to the rare level, you're going to have to go ahead and also spend R-Source. So that adds the additional R-Source that's out there. Basically, it's going to cost you a combination of T-Source. It'll only be T-Source if it's a common or an uncommon. But once you get to the rare, it's going to cost you T-Source and R-Source. T-Source comes from that treasures. There's occasional drops every Friday that they've been doing, those packs, for depending on what pack you may have for the dungeon expansion. Each one of those treasures gives you a different amount of T-source. And the T-source is mostly used for the actual regenerating your stamina, which they've talked about quite a bit. Something that's good that they added in here for the recharging is, I also want to note, every time there's something bold, it's some good information that you definitely want to take a look at. They did remove the failure chance when you're fighting, which is great. There's nothing worse than when you're doing a mission and you fail and you don't get anything, and then you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can go ahead and do that mission again. So I'm happy that they did remove that. So that's something I wanted to go ahead and show out there. They mentioned that there's a lot of RNG that's involved, and that's the reason why they removed it. So from a player perspective, I'm happy they removed that. So we'll see what kind of results come from it. The next on the list here is the stamina that you can get from equipment. This is the bonuses that they were talking about. Not only do they have a cool visual look to them, but they actually give you additional stamina, which makes your stamina overall higher, so you can do more fights. What they're showing here is, depending on the rarity, it will depend on the actual amount of stamina you get. Plus, they added a cool thing as far as a bonus for a full set. I do like that. I like when you can get a full set of armor, and it gives you just a little bit extra. So if you scroll down through here, you basically, if you have a common and you have a full set, you can get all the way up to 44 max stamina and so forth down here, especially when you get up in Mythic. Obviously, you're going to have a huge boost in the Mythic side of the house. Again, I'm not going to dive through all these tables and read everything out to you because it's all their information. I think this would be a rather boring video if I went ahead and did that. Scrolling down here, it's going to show you how much each monster actually costs to fight. Just remember when you're looking at these numbers, you can only fight those monsters that are vulnerable to the class of the hero that you have. But basically it says if you have all of your equipment maxed out for each rarity level, you can fight up to 11 times. And if you count it, basically we talked about it before. If you scroll back up here, a common can have a max of 44 stamina. It costs 4 stamina to go ahead and attack a common. That's 11 fights right there, and you can only attack your level and below. So if you have a common, you're not out there attacking legendary monsters. So keep that in mind also. But you can basically fight 11 times, depending on your rarity, or if you have all your equipment maxed out, and then you have to go ahead and boost your stamina back up. And that does include the free monster, the free daily monster. So you're all aware that every fight or every hero that you have will be able to at least fight one free monster daily, even if you don't have the hero tomes. As I mentioned before, the ways you obtain the treasure source, which is key for recharging your stamina, is through those treasures. The stuff we've been getting as far as every Friday drops. Once the dungeon expansion is available, I don't believe they're going to be doing those airdrops anymore. So you'll be getting that through actually fighting and looting different monsters. They'll be giving you some sort of treasure and some sort of RNG with that. You could get anything from fragments of heroes all the way to some other treasures. So lots of different things that they're going. And that's what they mentioned before as far as eliminating the failure, because there's a lot of RNG involved in each of these fights. And basically what you're going to do is once you get those little pieces of treasure, they're going to go into your vault. And it's going to convert with a royal seal into T-source. So for example, what they're showing here as far as the equation that they have going on is basically 2,500 wealth, which is the equivalent of that much treasure in your vault, plus 1 royal seal will turn into 2,500 T-source. If you scroll down just a little bit more, it does show you the actual conversion rates as far as those treasures that we got so far. Again, you for pre-launch, it's going to be through those packs that we get every Friday as far as airdrops for just having a hero pack. And then post, it'll be as far as getting when you're fighting actual monsters. For example, you get 5 commons. It's going to be the equivalent of 500. If you get 5 rares, then you're going to be the equivalent of 2,500. So it goes along here, and it's going to be some, I'm sure, a mixture. As far as those packs that we've been receiving on Fridays as part of the airdrop, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, I believe the highest rarity that I've gotten, and I think that they have in those packs, is a rare. So I haven't gotten anything above a rare as far as the rarity goes. But I'm assuming post-launch when you're fighting, you're going to go ahead and if you're fighting legendary and mythic monsters, you have a higher chance of getting these treasures. Also, rune source is going, or our source is going to be critical, and you can get that through multiple different ways. You can get that from the guild that we have out there already. That gives you passive every time someone opens these packs. In addition to that, they are going to be introducing an alchemist, basically a rune source crafter. So that is an event that's going to be coming up here in the near future. So once we get some more details around that, we'll go ahead and highlight that. But the rune source crafter is going to, the cost of it, as far as crafting, and let me quick skim through this. I don't think they mentioned the actual crafting cost of it, but to recharge the rune source, the alchemist, which is also known as the rune source crafter, is going to cost you 200,000 M source. So there we go. We got another M source burning mechanism, which we desperately need in the game right now. That'll also be increased when they double the land, but we're not going to jump into that. Plus a royal seal. So that's actually relatively cheap to go ahead and recharge your alchemist, because you don't have to do that once a week. Royal seals can be pretty cheap, and M source can be pretty cheap. So that's pretty good. And as far as your daily output is for the rune source crafter, you get roughly about 245 rune source per week. So if you have multiple crafters, which I would plan on getting, you'd be able to stock up pretty well, so you can recharge those higher tier heroes. So that's nice that they're adding the alchemist in there. Obviously they don't have a date on when that's going to happen, but that's coming here in the near future. Now scrolling down, we go to the monster tomes. This is basically how you're going to get the monsters that you're going to attack. Obviously, the more tomes that you have, the more monsters you'll be able to fight, especially if you have a number of heroes. But if you scroll down there, it's pretty simple, very similar to the crafters, because you're going to obtain these tomes, and you're going to have to recharge them. You're going to have to recharge them on a weekly basis, and each day they'll go ahead and give you different monster packs. And essentially what happens, if you get a rare, it's going to cost you 5,000 T-Source. So here's another use for the T-Source, not just for recharging stamina. And then you're going to have the odds of getting 95% of getting common and a 5% chance of getting an uncommon. Epic is going to be a little bit higher. It's going to cost you 9,000 T-Source and the first R source. And it's going to give you 30% common, 65% uncommon, and 5. Obviously, legendary is the one that you want to get here. It will cost you more, so you need to go ahead and do more quests to get there. But it gives you a much higher chance at getting the rare monster packs. And then if you scroll down here, as far as each of the monster packs, the odds of the monsters that'll be inside there, you can do the math. If you have common, the highest chance you're going to get is to get an uncommon, which is about 25% of the time. Uncommon packs can go all the way up to epics, and rares can go from uncommons all the way up to mythics. So that's the only chance you're going to get legendary mythics if you have a rare monster pack. And in order to get the tomes, basically it's going to be for wax. At least the first sale is going to be for wax. It's going to cost... they don't have the cost. Sorry, I misread that. It's likely going to be early October. And this goes along with the time frames that I provided earlier, where they're trying to have everything out there and available and fully launched by some point in October. Just don't know the time frame. So the other interesting thing, which they've jumped around quite a bit as far as the monster tome goes, initially they are all going to be the same rarity, same value. Then it was going to be, there's going to be unlimited supply of those. So they finally have established that there is going to be a limited supply based on economical needs or ecosystem needs. Basically what that means is the more demand that there is in the future, that they're going to go ahead and release more. If it's oversaturated, or if they just see it getting to the point where it's oversaturated, they're not going to sell more. So they're going to try and balance it out that way. It's kind of they're giving themselves an out if they need to produce more, especially if more players come on board when the market starts shifting. Now we're going to actually talk about the monster battles themselves. I'm not going to go through this in too much detail. Basically, what they're saying is you have the opportunity to get some pretty cool prizes, pretty cool monsters. You have the daily monsters, which is basically a free battle that you can do every single day. They're going to have NFT monsters. That's the monsters that you're going to get out of the packs. Basically, you can go out and buy a whole bunch. They're all available on the secondary market. And they come from the tomes and come from the packs. So you can do up to, including the daily monster, you can do up to 11 battles a day, depending on your equipment also, if it's fully maxed out. And then there's the weekly boss, and these are going to give you, obviously, the higher rewards, only available once a week. And then as far as the rewards that you're going to get, you're obviously going to get the treasures. We've already talked about the treasures, but the thing that most people are going to want is equipment and heroes out of these battles. Instead of giving you very, very rare drops for heroes or very, very rare drops for equipment, they're actually broken up into fragments. So you can go ahead and get a certain number of fragments. Basically, for the equipment, you're going to need 5 equipment fragments of the same rarity to create 1 equipment NFT. And then from the heroes, it's a little bit higher. You actually need 30 hero fragments of the same rarity to go ahead and create a hero. And obviously, the reason the hero fragments is higher because they do want to put some sort of limit on the heroes. And for the equipment fragments, you're trying to fill up 11 slots. So 5 equipment fragments makes sense, especially the same rarity. And then, as I mentioned, they just mentioned here, you obtain loot, and the loot goes into basically the T source that we had talked about earlier in the video. And now if we scroll down, I just want to quickly go over the percentages for the daily monsters, the NFT monsters. I'm not going to go into full detail. Obviously, the higher monster you fight, the higher chances you are going to get at some of the good rarity items. I think early on, the common or basically hero fragments are going to be key because they were kind of expensive, especially for those that are just really getting into the game. So I know there's some people that only have 1 hero out there. Thankfully, I was able to get a few packs just from being in the game longer. But hero fragments, I think, are going to be very, very sought after. Obviously, equipment also is going to be one of those key things. So you can try and get the cool looks of the different types of sets, but also get the max of your stamina and get to that as quickly as possible. There's going to be a little bit of a higher chance, actually. There's a little bit of a higher chance as far as the fragments go, the boosting up in the rarity of the fragments with the NFT monsters. For example, just going to quickly cover this. For the common daily monster, you're only going to be able to get common results. For the common NFT monster, again, this is the pack monster, you're going to have a chance of actually jumping up and getting uncommon items, which is pretty neat. 4% chance on the commons, and as you go up, you're going to have a higher percent chance. Then we're talking about the weekly boss. This is where you get the much higher rewards if you're able to defeat that weekly monster. Again, there's no failure rate, so you'll definitely be able to beat that weekly monster. But it shows just the higher rarity. So you're going to be able to get some of those higher tier. Basically, it jumps up a tier. If you fight a common weekly monster, you're going to get uncommon results. If you get an uncommon, rare results, and so forth up. The only time is mythic is you're going to have just a higher chance of getting the mythic hero fragments. And again, you need 30 fragments, so it's going to take some time in order to build up to get another hero out there. There is going to be a hero blending, which I think is going to be more down the road. I don't know how many people are going to be able to do a lot of hero blendings. You need to make sure it's the same type of hero. For example, you can't blend a knight and the thief together. It has to be, in the common example, you need 3 knights and 4 seals to go ahead and do an uncommon. I like the fact that you can boost it up. Again, I think it's going to be something that's a little bit down the road once people really start gathering all those hero fragments. So it'll be pretty neat to see down the road. Going along with the normal scarcity system within Castles, what they are trying to do is limit the mythics and the higher tier rarities. So every time that someone is able to blend through the fragments, some of these higher tier heroes, they're going to go ahead and it's going to cost more and more as you go through the process. And last but not least, I'm just going to quickly skim over this. There are starter heroes if you were not able to get a pack, because again, I know the packs were kind of expensive. They are offering a low entry point, which is the starter hero, basically $10 equivalent in wax. And it doesn't give you the results that the other heroes do, but at least it gives you a chance to play and build up, similar to free to play, but it's just a low entry point side. So something definitely worth checking out if you haven't been able to get the packs yet. What are my thoughts on this overall thing? I love the fact that they're finally giving us some of the details, and it's not like they were holding back from giving the details. I know they were still working through it. Josh and Robert and team are very thorough when they're going through calculations to make sure it's the best option possible for the game. So that's why it did take them a little bit longer. It's exciting in a whole other way because that means it's coming very soon. We're going to start getting some of the options here in September. And then hopefully the full game release or the full launch of the dungeon expansion will be here in October. Let me know in the comments down below. I know this is a little bit of a longer video because there's just a lot of detail in here. Let me know what your thoughts are. What's your favorite part as far as what's coming up in the dungeon expansion? What's your biggest challenge? Most people, the biggest challenge is going to be the wax for the monster tome, or even just getting some of these hero packs. So go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.